you may not have when you're traveling abroad. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about things that you may want but have limited access to when you're living abroad.
Yeah.
So first, let's start off, I know I mentioned before that I was looking for a blender here in Ecuador and how much the blender costs, and I wasn't going to pay that amount. So, when we traveled to Panama, I was able to find one, and it was a little more expensive than what we would have paid for in the US, but I was able to get one. So that leads us into when you're living abroad and you need something or you want something, what are you willing to pay? Are you willing to pay these prices in the country you're living in, or do you wait till you go back to the States?
So let's get into it.
So one of the things that Steve and I like to do is fish. We like to go fishing. And when we were in the States, we had a lot of fishing rods, fishing reels that was very accessible to us because we had a Bass Pro Shop. We had Walmart. We had little mom and pop shops that we could get lures, things for our tackle box, hooks and stuff like that. So here in Ecuador, not so much. Not in the area that we're in. When you're traveling abroad and your hobby is fishing, or let's say you may like playing racquetball, different things, and in that area that you're living in may not have a shop to give you those things or provide you with those things, you can order from Amazon, but Amazon has these extremely expensive shipping costs. Just to give you an idea, I'm going to show you something that we bought from Amazon and had it shipped here, and you're going to see how much it costs. So just keep that in mind when you're living abroad, and if you have these types of hobbies, what are you willing to pay to have stuff shipped to you versus trying to find it where you live? Okay, so Steve and I went to a sports fishing store here, or a fishing store here. Now, when we went into the store, this store did not have any prices. They didn't have any prices on their reels. They didn't have any prices on their rods. So you have to know that whatever they tell you, you can either negotiate and see if you can get it down, but they're going to give you a higher price than what you would pay in the States. And it's up to you whether or not you want to negotiate or you want to pay the price, because we know that a rod does not cost for a pin or ugly stick like $175 if it's a 6-foot rod, lightweight or medium action. It isn't going to cost you $175. It may cost you anywhere between $60 and $90. Now we went to a different store. The price was still kind of high, but I'm not gonna say they were reasonable, but they were a little reasonable. But you have to say, okay, if I buy it here for a higher price and then have it shipped, is it about the same? Because like I said, when you ship it from Amazon, the shipping costs can be higher. So you gotta weigh that. Do you wanna pay, you have it now, or do you wanna wait and get it 2 to 3 weeks later?
So there are alternatives to Amazon. One that we've used is Servientrega, and Servientrega is a Ecuadorian company, so they ship all over the country. You can mail things within the country or outside. So for our example, they have a warehouse in Miami. We can have items sent there. So the advantage to this is you can order things from any website and have them sent to that destination and have it sent here. Versus if I do Amazon, Amazon will ship directly here, and honestly, it may get here faster. That being said, I'm stuck with ordering straight from Amazon. There may be something from another website that I can't get on Amazon, or I want directly from that website. So I'll have that sent to Servientrega in Miami. Once it arrives there, you send them the invoice. They go by the weight and according to the weight is how much you have to pay for shipping here to wherever you live, and they'll bring it right to your doorstep. Now, here's the thing. There's a big upcharge when it comes to shipping, all right? So let's say I buy something that may have only cost me 25 bucks, but it weighs 7 pounds. Well, the shipping on that is gonna cost me more than what I paid for the items. The shipping might cost me $40. So it depends on how bad I need those items. Just to give you a quick example, things like contact solution here are really expensive. So a bottle of OptiFree can cost you upwards of 25 bucks. I don't know why, it's not even a big bottle. So I'm like, well, why not order from Target or something, get 3 bottles for a lot less, have them shipped here. They weigh a lot, so that shipping can be expensive.
Okay, so Steve just talked about Servientrega. Now there is other options that you can use to have stuff shipped to you.
You can use a mule service, which is basically someone who's traveling to the States and they will bring back items for you, depending on what it is that you want and how much it weighs. They usually charge by the pound.
By the pound, and it can vary between $7 to $9, just depends.
Yeah.
Now you have to keep in mind that if once that person gets to the airport and there's some issues with what they have in their luggage and they confiscate it, that's money lost.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind as well when you're using the mule system.
Yeah, and the person that's doing it should tell you like what's allowed and what's not. But generally speaking, you know, they can't bring but so many electronic devices like laptops, cell phones, things of that nature. So if you think you're gonna order like 5 cell phones to have them sent here, it's not gonna happen. They're gonna stop it at customs. You can forget that. But that is an option. Depending on where you live, it may be your better option. But I know there's always human error involved in things. And I know how we are. We don't necessarily trust people with items that we purchase. I'm not saying that you can't.
Right.
I'm just saying that if I was gonna purchase a really expensive item, I wouldn't trust it to a person to bring through the airport. That's just me personally.
And just so you know, we don't do the mule service because we have things that we want to bring, and therefore we have to weigh what it is that we want to bring.
Right. So what you're saying is we don't mule things for other people. Yeah. So like usually if we're going somewhere, we want to bring some stuff back, and we've already accounted for that with our luggage. So depending on where you are, wherever you are, overseas, international, there may be things that you need or want that you can't find in that new place. So do some research, figure out what it is that you can and can't live without, and if that place has it. If not, find out what kind of courier services you can use to get those things delivered. So a lot of places in Europe or whatever, you know, it's gonna be fairly easy to find anything you need. But if you come to a place like South America, it may be a little different. All right, you may find brands here that you weren't used to. So if you want an oven, if you want a blender, if you want this or that, it may be a brand you're not used to, and you're gonna have to try it out possibly, or find out if other people have had issues with it. But for the most part, you can pretty much find anything you want anywhere in the world. But just know that there may be things you need to live without, or make a few changes in how picky you are about certain things.
And learn to adapt.
That's right. So, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.